It was bonus day. After 87 straight late nights, no vacations, no weekends, no boundaries. I thought I'd earned something. Yet my bonus? A mug, white ceramic, wrapped in half-torn tissue paper like it was doing me a favor. It wasn't random. Bonuses were given based on rank. Unofficially, of course. Gift cards, extra days off. Spa vouchers, the favorites got them. The rest of us, we got mugs. For a second, I thought it was a placeholder. That maybe something was tucked underneath. A card, a check, anything. There wasn't. Just ceramic. Cheap. Forgettable. Exactly how they saw me. Around me, the room buzzed. Laughter, excitement, the sound of people opening doors, while I sat holding a closed one. A $5 mug for 3 months of my life I'd never get back. You're probably wondering how I got here, and how I'm doing now. Don't worry, I'll get there. But before I do, tell me your worst corporate story in the comments, because if you've ever been blindsided like this, you're not alone. And if your story is still untold, subscribe. Let's make sure they're never forgotten. Let me start by introducing myself. Hi, I'm Maya. I was 27 when I joined the company. Still idealistic, still thinking hustle would be rewarded if you just smiled enough. I joined the company 2 years ago. It wasn't flashy. No big welcome package. No mission-driven speech. Just a manager who said, "We're like a family here." Spoiler, they meant the kind where you do everything and never get paid back. I started off excited, hungry. I read every onboarding doc, twice, built my own trackers, said yes to everything. Late nights, sure. Weekend catch-up, no problem. Cover someone else's workload while they step away? Of course, because I thought saying yes meant I was building trust, proving myself, laying the bricks for my future. Then it became a pattern. The first time I stayed late, my manager sent me a thumbs-up emoji. Private DM. No team-wide call-out. No, we appreciate you. Just a thumbs up at 10:57 p.m. Then came the quarterly review. Strong team player. Keeps things running. Needs to work on visibility. Visibility? I was the only one visible after 7 p.m. I was the reason half those deadlines didn't crash. But still, I nodded, smiled, promised to speak up more in meetings. I started noticing how everyone else seemed to have boundaries. They went offline. They took breaks. They didn't jump into group chats on Sunday night. Me? I was still trying to be the glue, the reliable one, the one who got things done without asking for credit. Then came the streak. 87 workdays in a row where I logged off after 8 p.m., sometimes 10, sometimes 2 a.m. Some of those nights, I wasn't even needed. But I stayed, just in case. Because I thought, if they see how much I care, they'll reward it. If I just push through this quarter, it'll get better. Spoiler, it didn't. The first time I asked about growth, my manager said, "Absolutely, let's revisit after this quarter. Just need to get through the crunch." Spoiler, there was always a crunch. I brought it up again in my review. "You're a rock star, really. Just keep doing what you're doing." I asked if there was a clear path forward. He smiled. "You're on our radar." I was on the radar, but no one ever landed anything. They told me I was mission critical. Steady under pressure. Always willing to go the extra mile. I started wondering, if I'm so critical, why do I keep getting critical comments in private and none of the credit in public? At one point, a new guy got promoted after 6 months. He was nice, loud, made terrible jokes in meetings. I trained him, proofed his reports, helped him land a client pitch by rewriting his deck at 11 p.m. He got a 10% raise and a LinkedIn shoutout. I got a company water bottle with a typo in the logo. Another time, I flagged that I'd been working weekends for 3 months straight. My boss said, "I know. That's what makes you so valuable. You never complain." That wasn't a compliment. That was a warning. If you ever start, it'll be a problem. The team liked me, but not enough to fight for me. The company praised me, but only in vague, HR-safe ways. I once asked if we could document my growth trajectory. They sent me a template with bullet points that said, leadership presence, developing. Initiative, demonstrated. Recognition, informal. Informal. Like the time someone said, "Good job" on a comment thread no one else was tagged in. I didn't need a parade. I didn't need applause. But I needed something more than polite sentences and a "we'll talk next" cycle. Spoiler, we never did. I wasn't the only one. There were others. The steady ones, the quiet ones, the ones who made the impossible happen, then watched someone else present it at all hands. Some stayed, some left, some stopped believing anything would change. I thought I was different. I thought if I just pushed a little harder, worked a little longer, they'd have to notice. Spoiler, they noticed. They just didn't care. Let me take you back to the day they handed me my ugly mug. It was bonus season. The quarter had been brutal. 2 people quit. 1 went on stress leave. I stayed, pitched in on everything, took over 3 accounts, didn't take a single vacation day. Everyone was buzzing, rumors flying. We might be getting gift cards. I heard they're giving bonuses early this year. My manager sent a calendar invite titled Quarterly Appreciation Touchpoint. No one appreciates you like a corporation about to give you nothing. The room was already set up. Little white boxes stacked like cupcakes, company logo on top. Someone from HR opened the meeting with, "This has been an incredible quarter. We're so proud of the hustle." My heart was racing. I wasn't expecting a trip to the Maldives, but I thought, maybe this is the moment. They called names. One by one, people walked up and grabbed their box. I opened mine at my desk. Inside, a mug, white, ceramic, wrapped in thin tissue paper. The print said, "Rise and grind." It doesn't even have our company logo on it. That was it. No note, no bonus, just a mug. I turned it over. No personalization. I later found the exact one online for $4.99. Minimum order, 100. Another senior manager walked by. "Cute, right? We thought of you when we picked that one." I smiled, said, "Thank you." Set it on the corner of my desk like it meant something. Behind me, someone laughed, waving a $500 gift card in the air. Another was high-fiving their manager about their paid day off. The guy who came in late half the month, he was already posting about his well-earned bonus on LinkedIn. It wasn't random. It was never random. It was a system, a list, a club I was never going to be part of, no matter how late I stayed, no matter how much I gave. I held that mug so tightly, like maybe I could will it into becoming more than it was. But it stayed what it was. A reminder that I could work late for 87 days, and they'd still think a motivational slogan would make it okay. I put the mug on my desk, didn't touch it, didn't use it, just let it sit there. It was ugly, too wide. One of those weird shapes that makes your tea cold in 5 minutes. But I left it out, because somehow that felt louder than throwing it away. That night, I left before 8 p.m. For the first time in 3 months, no Slack open on my phone, no email drafts saved in notes, just silence. I sat in my car and stared at the wheel. Not crying, not angry, just blank. And then, almost without thinking, I opened LinkedIn. Not to rage scroll, not to post a subtweet with a photo of the mug. I just wanted to see what else was out there. Instead, I saw the same old noise. Posts about thriving under pressure. Selfies from grind culture conferences. People bragging about promotions they didn't even want last year. It all felt fake. So I closed the app. And without thinking, I opened Instagram. The first thing I saw was an old college friend standing with her boss and teammates, holding a framed certificate, laughing over dinner. The caption just said, "Work hard. Be seen. Be valued. Best team ever." It wasn't flashy. It wasn't braggy. It just was. For a second, I just stared at it, at the difference, at what it could look like when a team actually saw you. And for the first time in a long time, I saw it for what it was. I wasn't burnt out. I was used up. And I was done pretending otherwise. They hadn't rewarded my loyalty. They'd counted on it. They knew I wouldn't push back, wouldn't say no, wouldn't ask questions. I wasn't valued. I was exploited. Politely. The next morning, I still showed up, still answered emails, still smiled on calls, but something had shifted. I wasn't working for them anymore. I was working for my exit. I called an old colleague that afternoon. She'd started freelancing a few months earlier. Said she'd keep me in mind if anything opened up. That same week, I updated my resume, deleted the bullet point that said, goes above and beyond. Because now, I don't. I still have the mug. It still sits on my desk. Not because I like it, but because it reminds me, never confuse being busy with being respected. The first freelance gig came from a friend of a friend. A small brand, tight deadline, but they paid on time, said thank you twice, and didn't ask for a 10 p.m. call. That's what shocked me the most. They respected my time like it had actual value. I still had my day job, still answered emails, still joined the all hands. But something inside me had flipped. I no longer cared if they noticed. I wasn't chasing visibility. I was collecting exits. Month 2, I picked up another project, a bigger one. They asked me to pitch. I stayed up all night working on it, but this time for me. And when I landed it, I didn't feel tired. I felt alive. I started saving. Not much, but enough to build a timeline. I gave myself 6 months. 6 months to make the jump. 6 months to stop begging for a raise and start raising my own damn standards. At work, they didn't notice. Or maybe they did and didn't care. I was still delivering. Still polite. Still on time. But I stopped offering extra. Stopped covering for the guy who always forgot. Stopped fixing decks at midnight. And you know what? The world didn't collapse. They just gave the work to someone else. Month 5, one of the freelance clients offered me a retainer. Month 6, another brought me in to consult full-time. Remote. Better pay. Better people. I gave my notice with a 3-line email. Hi, I just wanted to let you know that I'm resigning. My last day will be Friday. Thank you for everything. No drama. No exit interview. They asked if I'd reconsider, said I was part of the culture. I didn't reply. The mug came with me, not out of sentiment, but as a reminder. This is what they thought I was worth. This is what I chose instead. 1 year later. No Slack pings at 11 p.m. No fake deadlines. No mugs wrapped in tissue paper. Just work I care about. Clients who pay on time. A calendar that includes lunch breaks and weekends off. And actually means it. I have 5 clients now. All came from referrals. All stayed longer than they planned. All said the same thing. You make things calm. You actually get it done. You don't make us feel stupid, which apparently is rare in business. And I have 2 team members now, Ella and Marcus. Ella's 24, sharp, a little shy, has a knack for catching the small details that save the big projects. Marcus is 26, loud, full of ideas, the kind of energy that makes even a bad Monday feel possible. Every week, I make sure they hear it. What they're doing right, where they're growing, why they matter. Because no one should have to wonder if they're invisible. A few months ago, I got an email. It was from Ryan, one of my old coworkers. The same Ryan who used to sit in meetings, nodding politely while I got talked over. He was looking for work. Said he always admired how steady I was, and asked if I had space on my team. I stared at the message for a long time. The old me would have said yes, would have felt flattered, would have tried to prove I was still nice. But now, I know my value, and I know who showed up when it counted, and who stayed silent. So I replied, respectfully, politely. I thanked him for reaching out, wished him well on his search, and let him know we weren't hiring at this time. Then I closed the email, took a sip of coffee, and got back to work. Because you can forgive the past without inviting it back into your future. My days are quieter, more mine. Some mornings, I start at 10. Some nights, I close my laptop at 6 and don't think about work until the next day. I haven't touched Slack in 9 months. I don't miss it. The mug still exists. I didn't throw it out. Didn't smash it. Didn't burn it like a breakup candle. I keep pens in it now. It sits on a shelf in my home office, right next to a photo of the beach I finally visited last fall. Because that's what the mug means now, not what they gave me. But what I walked away from. Sometimes I get messages, old coworkers, even my old manager once. Just wanted to say, I always thought you deserved more. They always say it after you've left. I don't reply to most of them. Not because I'm bitter, but because I'm busy, doing good work, for good people, on my own terms. And that is worth a whole shelf of mugs. I'm Maya, and this was my Empire Diary, the story of how I stayed late 87 nights straight, only to realize the only thing I owed them was my silence. If you've ever stayed too long, given too much, or waited for recognition that never came, your story matters too. Don't let it stay untold. Drop it in the comments. Or, better yet, submit it to us, and maybe we'll bring it to life in the next episode. And before you go, don't even think about leaving without watching this one, The Girl Who Got Fired by Slack and Built an Empire Instead. Click it, watch it. Remember, the best revenge isn't rage, it's success. This is The Empire Diaries.